Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of The Blue Jean Monster, a Hong Kong genre bender from 1991. I would classify this as an action-comedy hybrid with a sprinkling of horror. Now the following plot synopsis was taken from the '88 Films Blu Ray release. After a brave Hong Kong lawman is killed in a shootout, his body is reanimated by a Frankenstein-style bolt of lightning. Provided he gets crank-style, that's a reference to the Jason Statham movie, regular jolts of electricity, he continues to fight crime as an invulnerable zombie cop. Perennial Cantonese movie tough guy, Shing Fui-on, who appeared in The Killer, gets a lead of his own in this Hong Kong version of Dead Heat, the movie with Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams, with a supporting cast including Gloria Yip from Story of Ricky and Pauline Wong from Mr. Vampire. The Blue Jean Monster blends a gross-out horror, comedy, and action in a unique Hong Kong take on the cinematic undead. I like that little synopsis. A lot of movie references in that synopsis. But early on, our protagonist seems like a goofball. He's a nice guy. He even took in a juvenile kid into his home. And the kid is now a young adult and serves as like his informant. So this young guy will rub elbows with like criminals, and then like when he gets tips, he'll tell our protagonist and helps him get some leads for arrests. But the fact that this young guy lives with him seems to be a headache, and he's causing stress in our protagonist's wife. So all three of them are living in the same like apartment. In any case, I can't imagine this cop early on being effective at law enforcement. He seems like kind of a wimp. But as it turns out, he's only that way in front of his wife. You'll see in the opening action scene, he's actually a pretty good cop. And he gets close to apprehending about half a dozen vicious bank robbers before biting the bullet and dying. And he's basically the same character after getting resurrected, but his interactions with people change due to his like zombie-like physical condition, which he attempts to hide. And his situation is pretty intriguing enough to follow throughout the movie. It's a pretty good character to have a film revolve around. Now, the humor in this is pretty wacky. It could get pretty wacky at times. There's one scene early on where that involves Gloria Yip, and she interrogates some guys at a fast food restaurant by making them fondle, like lovingly fondle two super Big Mac burgers. And you're kind of wondering what the heck's going on here, but the scene, I guess, does make sense from a forensic standpoint. It is pretty silly, though. And then soon after, we get the resurrection scene, after the first action set piece, and that resurrection scene is legitimately hilarious. It's pretty funny, just because it's so absurd. Later on, there's some gross-out scenes involving, like, corpse body effects, like stuff like holes in his body that don't really heal because he's dead. If you've seen the low-budget Japanese horror movie Dead Girl Walking, quite an obscure title, but it was directed by Koji Shiraishi. It's kind of like that, where you get like a slow like degradation of body parts, throughout the course of the film. But this is more of a comedic take, and that aspect of the movie is explored quite a bit, actually. Our lead character having to interact with family and co-workers while attempting to hide his zombie-like attributes. There are some amusing moments, though. However, I would have preferred maybe a little bit less humor and a little bit more action. Maybe an extra action set piece along the way. And I do think that the overall lack of action in this movie is kind of what limits it to being, like, great, even though it's a good flick. Now, the Blu-ray press release claims that this was rated Category 3 when it originally came out, and that rating would typically result in some pretty graphic violence and or copious amounts of nudity. This is definitely one of the, I guess, softer Category 3 films from this era that I've seen. Now, the gore is sufficient to serve the movie. There's enough of it, and there's enough violence to serve the film and the plot properly, but there's nothing like particularly great or like shocking in this one, Now, the action scenes and thrills utilize our protagonist's ability to take large amounts of damage and also dish some out as well. Even though he's a zombie cop, his strength has improved a little bit, and he's able to take more hits. There's a legitimately good and violent bank robbery scene early on, which transitions to a car chase and shootout at a construction site. And then after the main character gets resurrected, we get some like action thriller scenes, like a brief kill scene where he dispatches a thug who's attacking Gloria's character. And then some of the other thriller moments actually revolve around Gloria Yip's character when she has run-ins with these bank robbers, because she ends up stealing some of their cash early on, and they're after her. They want to kill her and retrieve the money, and the zombie cop has to like save the day. The finale's pretty good. It's a shootout with a time element, so the good guys need to like achieve a few objectives, save some people, and escape, and fend off the bad guys. And then they ultimately need to win the battle against Jun Kurimura, who shows up in this. And Jun has shown up in some Hong Kong films over the years. Definitely a veteran, even at this point in his career, still a veteran kind of A-list Japanese actor. Always like seeing him and stuff. And he plays the leader of the robber gang, so that definitely adds a little bit of entertainment value. So I think the Blue Jean Monster it's just a good genre bender from this era of Hong Kong cinema. It's nutty fun, and it's quite different from a lot of stuff that comes out today. You know, even if you watch a Hong Kong film from this era of this type, and it's not like elite, it seems to like age well, just because it's unique and different and creative, you know. There's a new 88 Films Blu Ray, or a newer one, that is both Region A and Region B compatible. So I recommend this. And as always, folks, I'll see you next time.